Hello and welcome to. In this English class, we are going to learn how to understand and answer questions in English. Objectives: first, identify the types of questions. Second, review the meaning of the WH question words. And third, give short and long answers for questions. Let's start. Okay, the first thing that you need to remember is that we have two types of questions in English: yes no questions and information questions. As the name say, when you have a yes no question, you need to answer with yes or no. Let's check some examples using different tenses. Are you sick? Using the verb to be. Yes, I am. No, I am not. So here we can check the affirmative and negative short answers. Do you like ice cream? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Did you go to school last week? In this case, we're using simple past. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Have you eaten a snake? Using the present perfect. Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Will you marry Susan next year? Yes, I will. No, I won't. Now we're using the modal verb will to talk about the future. Shall we go to the cinema? Yes, we should. Here we're using shall. So as you can see, with yes no questions, we answered with yes and no. And we use the same things that we had in the question. So if the question comes with the verb to be, your answer must have the verb to be. If the question comes with the auxiliary do, because we're talking about present tense, then we need to use the same auxiliary in the answer. Talking about the past, the auxiliary is did, so the answer also has the auxiliary that is did. Have you eaten a snake? In the present perfect, have is the auxiliary, so the answer also has the auxiliary verb have. Will you marry Susan next year? Will is the modal verb, so we need to have the same modal verb in the answer. So, notice here that when we have yes no questions, the answer is very simple and easy. If you pay attention to the question, you can give an appropriate answer. Now, let's talk about the information questions. The information questions are questions that let us to answer in a free way. For example, when's your birthday? My birthday is in June. So here we're talking about a date. Where do you live? I live in Quito. Here we're talking about a place. So with the information questions, your answer is going to depend on what is required in the question. Let's remember the WH question words. The first one is what, that for us in Spanish means qué o cuál. We use this question word to talk about objects, professions, and activities. Let's check an example. What is your name? My name is Susan. What is this? This is a pencil. What do you do? I am an engineer. So in the first one, we find out about a name. In the second one, we're talking about an object. And in the third one, we're talking about an activity or profession. The next question is which. Which means cuál. We use it to talk about objects and things. Let's check the example. Which is more expensive, a house or a car? A house is more expensive than a car. Here we're using which to talk about objects of things. The next question is when. When means cuándo. And we use it to talk about date and time or a moment in the day. It can be in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, or at night. Let's check an example. When is the concert? The concert is in May. We're using the month. The concert is at 7 o'clock. We're using the time. The concert is at night. We're talking about a moment during the day. The next question is where. Where means donde. Here we're looking for a place. We want to find out about a place. Where is the concert? The concert is in Guayaquil. This question is one of the easiest ones. Why? Why means por qué. And with this question, we find out about a reason. And the answer is using the word because. Why do you study English? I study English because I have an exam. But you just can use because I have an exam. Why do you study English? Because I have an exam. The next question is who. Who means quién, and we're finding out the person. Who is your favorite singer? My favorite singer is Elvis Presley. The last question in this case is whose. Whose means the quién. Whose book is this? It's Susan. It's her. So you can see that in this question we're finding out about the owner. And the answer can use possessive pronouns and the possessive apostrophe s. Now let's check questions with how. Remember that how also belongs to the group of the WH question words, although it doesn't start with WH. How by itself can be used to talk about manner because it means como. How do you come to school? I come to school by bus. We can also use how to talk about an status. How was the concert? It was amazing. We can also use how plus adjectives to create new questions. Let's check some examples. How fast? In this case, we're going to talk about speed. How fast can you drive? I can drive at 100 kilometers per hour. With how plus often? How often? Talking about frequency. How often do you visit your grandmother? I visit her once a week. How plus long? When we use how plus long, we can have two different meanings. We can talk about time and we can talk about distance. How long do you take a shower? I take a shower for 15 minutes. In this case, we're talking about time. And how long is from Sangolquí to Quito? It's 25 kilometers. We're talking about distance. So, you can use how plus different adjectives to get different questions. For example, how tall, how short, how high, how expensive, how wide, and how deep. Now let's check some tips. Questions or interrogative sentences are used most of the time in spoken English. Remember that if you understand the WH question word, you got a 50% of the question and 50% of the answer because you know what you need to answer. Then what you have to do is to infer the meaning of the question using the words that you know and based on the WH question word. And don't forget to use the same terms from the question in the answer. Where have you been studying recently? Let's analyze this question. Where, your answer has to be a place. So in this case, when we see where, we know that it means donde and that our answer has to be a place. Have you been? Here we're using the present perfect progressive, so have is going to be the auxiliary verb that we are going to include in our answer to. The verb that shows the activity in this case is studying. And finally, we have recently to talk about the time. So our answer has to be like this. The short answer, where have you been studying recently? In France. Or if you have to give a long answer, where have you been studying recently? I have been studying in France recently. Now, You just have to listen carefully to each question to get as much information as possible. Then, feel confident and answer according to what you have learned in this video. Goodbye and good luck answering your questions.